Good morning, students. Today we are starting with the chapter 3, Human Reproduction. Let us recall what was done in your earlier chapters. Under your reproduction chapter, which you have already gone through the various types of reproduction, various phases, various events. And in second chapter, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants, that is in your angiosperms, you have clearly understood how the sexual reproduction occurs. All the three events are already studied: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. And even the structure as well as events you have already studied in detail. So now we are studying in detail the human reproduction. So here there are two parents. So sexually reproducing organisms have have parents of opposite sex, that is male and female. You can even see the highlighted portion here. We are talking about the sex organs involved during reproduction, which has to be mature. So they are mature during reproductive phase. So you know the three phases, not the three events. I'm talking about three phases: juvenile phase, reproductive phase, and senescence phase. So this is your reproductive phase. We are saying how reproduction occurs. Your three events we have to remember in your human reproduction: pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. So under pre-fertilization, we are talking about gametogenesis and your gamete transfer, how the gametes are brought together. Then fertilization, you know the process very well, fusion of gametes. And post-fertilization, we are talking about the development of the fetus. So that is under human reproduction. Coming to the definition, you've already come across the definition earlier under reproduction chapter, that is reproduction is a biological process where the organism reproduces or gives rise to the new individuals or new offsprings. So here it is a similar definition where we are saying it is a physiological process during which an organism produces young ones. Okay, so young one is your new individual. Here the additional sentence is young one of its own kind to continue the race. Okay, you can write any one of the definition since the question is just asked as reproduction. Okay, just to make you more clear what is that physiological process, we are talking about the sex organs involved and its actions, the functions. Okay, the structure and function, that's why we are saying physiological. So you all know about physiology already, study of the structure and functions of organs, that is physiology. In humans, the reproductive phase shows certain features. You've already come across with these features. Of course, humans, they reproduce sexually, they are viviparous in nature. They involve sex cells, namely sperm and egg, which is also called ovum. Fertilization is internal, as well as the development is internal. So the development of the young one. Okay. So coming to your process, in humans, we are again classifying. So your gametogenesis comes under pre-fertilization event. You all know what is gametogenesis. Production of sperm, production of egg, that is your production of gamete is called gametogenesis. Fertilization, under fertilization event. Now these three is new words for you all. So implantation, gestation, parturition. You'll understand this under post-fertilization event. Okay. So implantation is, I can show it to you here. This is your gametogenesis process. Once they fuse, zygote is formed. So the zygote will travel towards the uterine wall. You know the uterus, the womb. So onto the womb it gets attached. This process over here, which I am highlighting and circling, this is your implantation. Okay. So Once the implantation is understood, we are talking about gestation, that is your pregnancy period. Okay, and the last is parturition, the process of childbirth. Okay, so here I hope the terms are clear about these, the processes involved in the reproduction of in humans. Let us understand one by one the each event, and under each event what is the structure and the processes involved. We begin with anatomy of male reproductive system today. So you just have to practice this diagram. Please practice it 2 times. I need you all to submit once today, one more time then tomorrow, okay? The next day you have to submit again, because this is an important 5-mark question. Only if you answer it neatly you get full 5 marks. If the neatness is missing, or any spelling errors, or no 10 labelings, there are more than 10 I hope. We'll see that as we explain the structure. So if there are no 10 labelings, there are chances of losing marks. So see that you're giving 10, maximum they ask for 8, but I request you all to write 10 just to avoid any mistakes. And see that you are keeping the diagram very neat. Okay, don't overdraw the diagram. You simply lose half mark or 1 mark based on the evaluator. So evaluation is based on all your neatness. Okay, see that you are keeping it up to the mark. Without any further ado, I'm just starting with the explanation. Observe this part. We start with your primary sex organ, that is your testis. So there are 2 testes, plural form testes. Okay, so you will find after that there is certain ducts that is joining like this. I'll just show it again. So there are certain ducts that is coming out. So you can find rete testis, that is from the testis. There are certain tube like structures which come out. The coming out structure is called as vasa efferentia, this one. Then epididymis, it is this portion. Okay, and then it coils and reaches over the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, I hope you all know, this is under excretory system. That is why the term urinogenital structure. Okay, they are associated together. Now don't get confused, I'll explain one by one. So we are talking about one more tube that is coming out from the testis. So after epididymis, it is vas deferens. Okay, then you can find there are 3 glands, 1, 2 and third one. Okay, sorry, 1, 2 and third one. So here the paired portion, this structure is not paired actually, it is behind as one whole structure. In front it looks like it is divided. So the 3 glands are named here: seminal vesicle, prostrate gland and bulbourethral gland. So prostrate gland is the one which is unpaired. Seminal vesicle and bulbourethral is paired. So Cooper's gland, it is your bulbourethral gland. And coming downwards, all the ducts fuse and they form as a common duct over here. Okay, and then this is the common opening or the channel for even the urine to come out as well as the sperms to be released. So that is your urethra. Okay, this is the male external genitalia, which we call it as penis. So you'll understand about the parts of the penis over here. We'll understand one by one as I go in details the theory part. I just showed you the picture. That is the picture which you have to study for the exam. Very important 5-mark question. Okay, very important 5-mark question only for the diagram. Now we'll go in details, because all 1 mark question, 3 mark question, 2 mark question can be asked from this particular part, the theory part. Let us begin with the primary sex organ. When I say primary sex organ, it is the main sex organ for the production of gametes. So when I say male, they are producing sperms. So it is located in testis. So we are talking about in adults, the testis, the structure we are going to study in detail now. So it is oval in shape. The length is 4 to 5 centimeters and width about 2 to 3 centimeters. The testis has a protective cover, okay, which is made up of a dense tissue, which is called as tunica albuginea. Don't worry, that term is not important for you. It is coming under practical portion. Okay, so now testis, it is singular, more than one. We are saying about the pair over here. Just to go back, we are talking about pair. Okay, singular, plural is testes, TES, TES again. Okay, so we are talking about under each testis. Okay, we are taking only one testis now. It consists of 250 compartments, and that compartment, each compartment is called as testicular. There's a mistake here. This is testicular. UL is missing. Okay, sorry, testicular. Please note it, the spelling. This UL is missing. Testicular lobules. So each testis consists of 250 compartments called testicular lobules. So you can find here, it's not very clear, you can find this way. Okay, you will find it like that as lobules. So this is called as testicular lobules. So there are how many? 250 compartments or lobules, 250 lobules, which is called as testicular lobules. Let us consider that one lobule now. Inside one lobule, inside each lobule, it contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. So just to go back, this particular lobed structure has highly coiled, okay, not only 1, 2 to 3 it is, around 1 to 3 highly coiled structures, and those tube-like structures are called as seminiferous tubules. Inside seminiferous tubules, sperms are produced. So you understood why it is called this primary sex organ. See, under testis, 250 compartments called testicular lobules. Under lobules, inside the lobules, 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Inside the tubules, sperms are produced. Okay, so we'll understand about seminiferous tubules now. So each seminiferous tubules on the inside is lined by 2 types of cells. Okay, you know very well now sperms are produced in seminiferous tubule. Let us understand the structure first. How, before the formation of sperms, let us understand the structure of the seminiferous tubule, what it consists of. So let me just show you here. You can see this is a tubule, one tubule. We have taken a TS. Okay, so when you take a TS, this is a diagram, hand drawn. So you can find one tubule over here, one tubule over here. So they have just highlighted one to show you a clear picture. So you can see the sperms that are produced here. In between, observe something different here. There is certain pillar-like cells and some small cells here, circular shaped, almost circular or oval shaped. So this is your whole seminiferous tubule, one tubule. So here you just come back. We have spoken about the 2 types of cell here. So the 2 types of cell is male germ cell and Sertoli cell. So you have to remember seminiferous tubule consists of 2 types of cell, male germ cell and Sertoli cell. To be more clear, Male germ cell, as you understood, that is the one which helps in the formation of sperms. So the male germ cells are also called as spermatogonia, which undergoes meiotic division leading to the formation of sperms. Making you clear, these are all male germ cells. All are male germ cells. Another name, spermatogonia. Okay, so they undergo meiosis. Okay, they all divide to produce the sperms. So meiosis means reductional division. Spermatogonia is diploid. Okay, the whole testis is only diploid. Spermatogonia is also diploid. That's why we say male germ cell. What is haploid? The spermatozoa. Why the word spermatozoa? It has tail-like structure. That's why zoa. Okay, spermatozoa. So all these structures over here, they don't have tail. That's why they are called as spermatocyte. Spermatocyte and spermatozoa. So spermatocyte, I'm writing this spelling for you to get a clarity. This site means these cells. First one is spermatogonia. Okay, then after division, meiotic division, you will find a cell. So all these are your divided cells. Under meiosis it comes, so reduced to form a cell without flagella, that is spermatocyte. Finally they form spermatozoa, that is they become motile. So these spermatozoa finally becomes your functional sperms. So you'll understand what is that functional sperms later on. Today we are studying only the structure. Don't get confused. So I hope it is clear. Spermatocytes, spermatozoa. So beginning male germ cells are called as spermatogonium. Spermatogonium singular. Spermatogonia is plural. Okay. They undergo the meiotic division to produce haploid spermatozoa. They are haploid. Spermatogonia, diploid. Is it clear? Then you can find in between long pillar-like cells. Those are your Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells, which is diploid in nature. Sertoli cells provide nourishment to the sperms, to the developing sperms. So you can find this is the pillar-like structure, and you can find the sperms attached over here for nourishment. So I hope it is clear. Observe even the nucleus, which is at the basal nucleus. So I hope it is clear. So here you can just observe how they have drawn nicely to show the meiosis. They are showing the meiosis over here. Okay, you ignore that right now because that is all practical part, which is the diagram that is asked. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. Just recalling, this is the testis. It has a dense covering called tunica albuginea. Okay, there are 250 compartments in each testis. Those 250 compartments, each compartment is called as your testicular lobules. These testicular lobules, don't worry about these. The names are the old names, these are. Don't worry about those. You have to follow the present names, present terms. So testicular lobules contain highly coiled, you can find the coiling inside, highly coiled 2 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Okay, so these seminiferous tubules contain what? Your male germ cell and Sertoli cells. So Sertoli cells, as I've told, it provides nutrition to the germ cell as well as to the developing sperm. Okay, sorry. Coming to the further detail, so we have studied about the testis, that is the primary sex organ. So if the question is asked separately, where is male reproductive organ present, you should be able to say it is located in the pelvic region. I hope you all know what is pelvic. The abdominal region is called as your pelvic region. Just to recall, see this portion of the human, where the hips are located a little below, that is your hip region itself is your pelvic girdle. I hope you all remember pelvic girdle, pectoral girdle, if it was taught. Okay, because I couldn't be there for you all. I hope it was taught for you all. But just right now, just remember the hip region is your pelvic region. Okay. So this is clear. Okay, so you've understood about the pelvic region. So in your male reproductive system, the slides have got interchanged, I think. Okay, you don't worry about it. You should know about your testes. They are in pair. So it is pair of testes, singular testis. Along with the male reproductive system is not only talking about your primary sex organ, it is also there are associated organs. What are those? Accessory ducts, accessory glands, external genitalia. So you have already understood about testis, that is it is the primary sex organ. Situated, where it is present, it is situated outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. Just to make you more clear, so this is your detailed structure. Wait, let me just come back. Yes, you can observe here there's something, a pouch like structure. Okay, here you do not find, but it is actually there. We are showing the section over here, and this is the pouched section. Okay, so that is the pouch like structure where the testis is present within it, is called as scrotum. The scrotum is the bag like structure where it is located outside the abdominal cavity. Now the question can be asked, why is scrotum placed outside the body, outside the abdominal cavity? So here is your answer. It helps in maintaining the low temperature. For what is this low temperature? It is necessary for spermatogenesis. What is that spermatogenesis? Sperm production. So what is that lowering the temperature? That low temperature is 2 to 2.5 degree Celsius lower than the normal body temperature. So it is normal is 37 degrees Celsius, 2 or 2.5 degree less than the body temperature. So it can be your 35, okay, 35 or below, little below 35 degrees Celsius or that. Okay, that temperature is required for what? For the production of sperms. That's why, hence necessary for spermatogenesis. So it's clear, testis located outside the abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity, I hope you all know. Okay, the portion which I marked earlier for the pelvic region, the inside region we call it as inside your body, that region is called as abdomen. And abdominal cavity consists of your certain parts of your sex organs, but the primary sex organ is situated outside, where? Within the pouch like structure called scrotum. I hope you're getting the idea. If any doubts are there, let me know. So you understood where it is located, where the male reproductive system is located, where the testis is located, and you understood about the scrotum. Again recalling, your primary sex organ is not alone. It is also associated with accessory ducts, accessory glands, and external genitalia. So just to make you more clear, this was just like your previous. So this is your testis, this is your epididymis, which we told before. I told before that is your, you can see all the coil like structures. It is nothing but the tubules. So you can clearly see the septum is nothing but the wall like to separate the tubule. Testicular lobules. You can find it as lobule here. And when you take this section, you can find a little more details. So you can find 1, 2, 3 seminiferous tubules. We missed something there. That is your, in between the seminiferous tubule, there is certain interstitial fluid, interstitial space, which consists of certain cells and certain other components, which we'll understand as we study further. So this is all these diagrams which I'm explaining. Okay, so here you can see it's clearly shown here. We are talking about the pouch like structure scrotum, which consists of your testis. So it is placed outside the abdominal cavity, and you know why it is kept outside the body. It is mainly to maintain the temperature for spermatogenesis. So don't worry about whatever I've shown here. This is only for your idea. I've kept the picture. We'll understand one by one. Now whatever I showed the space, that is the region outside the seminiferous tubule, is called as your interstitial space. What does it consist? Small blood vessels as well as Leydig cells. The Leydig cells, here you can see how they have pointed out. Another name for Leydig cell they have already given here. It is interstitial cell. So remember, interstitial space has blood vessels, Leydig cells, as well as presence of immunological competent cells. When I say immunological, it sees that there is no other infection created in the your testis, that is where your sperms are producing. I'll just show it here. So there are sperms producing here within these seminiferous tubules. Just to avoid any infection, there are immunocompetent cells to protect them. Okay, so that is the role of immunocompetent cells over here, which we say immunological competent cells. You all know about immunity, capacity of the body to fight against pathogens. So that is why immunological competent cells. Don't worry more. You have to remember, if this is asked for 3-mark question, what is present in the interstitial space within the seminiferous tubule, you should be able to answer blood vessels, small blood vessels, Leydig cells, also called interstitial cells, and it also has the presence of immunological competent cells. About Leydig cells, main role is for it to synthesize and secrete androgens. So androgens are testicular hormones. Okay, so this is just, again I'm just showing. If they ask, draw a neat label diagram of TS of seminiferous tubule. This is your diagram taken from the manual. Don't worry about this. This is not asked. The one which is asked is, I have placed it behind, I hope. I'll be showing that. So it's there in your textbook already. Okay, I'll send it to you separately if I have not added here. Okay, I'll tell you where that particular answer. If they ask, draw a neat label diagram of seminiferous tubule showing the internal structure of seminiferous tubule, you should be able to answer it. Now we are coming to the associated structures. You have understood about the main sex organ, that is the testis, and the associated parts of it. Now we are talking about the associated organs. You are not only testis, we are talking about even other parts. That is your first one. We are studying about male accessory ducts. You remember I had shown a pathway where, okay, let me show you again. So a pathway is there. We are talking about from the testis how it comes out. Okay, so that pathway is explained over here. That is your accessory ducts. Okay, so we'll understand what those accessory ducts are. It includes rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. So these are your male accessory ducts. These are your main accessory ducts coming out from the testis. So from the seminiferous tubule, we are starting from the testis now. How the path is till the exterior, till it releases, how the pathway is. So first is seminiferous tubule. From there, once the sperms are ready, where will it enter? So once the tubules have the sperms ready inside it, it will open into vasa efferentia through rete testis. So first seminiferous tubule opens into rete testis and then opens into vasa efferentia. Okay, so just to show you what is that, I'll show you all here. So this is your seminiferous tubules. It's highly coiled. You can see the coiling like a Maggie. So it is highly coiled. That is your seminiferous tubule. It comes out as rete testis. You can see here they have labeled it already. Rete testis. Okay, rete testis, which is over here. Then rete testis opens into your there is vas efferentia missing here. Okay, wait. This particular stalk over here, this region, this is all the rete testis over here. Okay, and there is one common which all join rete testis join to form vasa efferentia, and vasa efferentia opens into your epididymis. This is your epididymis. Okay, now we'll just come back. I hope it is clear. Seminiferous tubules open into vasa efferentia. This is the fusion through rete testis. So imagine 1, 2, 3, 4 rete testis come. So this one just joins together. Even this one just joins together. So this is rete testis. Let me show you another color. This is your rete testis. Okay, all these are rete testis. It fuses to form vasa efferentia. So you can say seminiferous tubules opens into vasa efferentia. So seminiferous tubules are here. Opens into vasa efferentia through rete testis. Is it clear? I hope it is understood now. So it will open through rete testis. So seminiferous tubules, then it is rete testis, then it is vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia leaves testis, opens into epididymis. I hope it is clear like the previous one. So it leaves the testis. This is the region. It leaves the testis, enters into epididymis. So epididymis is located posterior on the posterior surface of the each testis. I hope you all know what is posterior. Okay, so imagine this is the testis region. This is the anterior region. This is the posterior region. So we are talking towards the posterior region, a little above. Okay, but this way it goes down. So this is why we are saying posterior surface. And it leads to vas deferens. Now what is that vas deferens? You can see that long tubule. This is the one. It goes up. I'll better clear picture for you. I'll show it here. Once from the epididymis it comes out here. So this particular portion is vas deferens. Just observe where the vas deferens is going. You can see it joins directly here. So this particular swollen region, you can see a swollen region is called as ampulla. Not needed here, not important. So you have to just see it is a place where the collection is kept, as a little only for a short time, few seconds as a storage. Okay, so here coming to your previous, Here also you cannot see it clearly. The rete testis you cannot see it clearly, but you can see the vas efferentia clearly. You can see the strands, and then it is the epididymis. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So you can see, let me just come back over here. You can see it loops over the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. Okay, and you can find the ureter. I hope you all know what is ureter. From the kidneys, the urine has to be passed through a tube-like structure called ureter. So coming to your explanation, the ducts. So vas deferens is ready. We are talking about vas deferens ascends to abdomen. Ascends in the sense testis was below, it goes up. So upward direction is called as ascend. So ascends towards the abdomen. Okay, towards the abdomen where your urinary bladder is there, and loops over the urinary bladder. So vas deferens receives a duct from the seminal vesicles and opens into the urethra as ejaculatory duct. So just to be clear, your vas deferens is already a tube-like structure. Okay, so it receives the ducts from the seminal vesicle. It receives the ducts from the seminal vesicles and then open into the urethra. So it's almost joining as common duct here. Okay, so here you can see ejaculatory duct is a common duct joined by vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicle. So I hope it is understood now. Where does it open into? Urethra. The common passage where both urine as well as sperms can be released. Okay, that is a common passage, urethra. But for the release of the secretions of seminal vesicles as well as from the vas deferens, okay, to be released into the ejaculatory duct. Through ejaculatory duct, it will open into the urethra. Okay, so this is during the mating time, or we say the another term copulation. This ejaculatory duct is functional. Okay, so when it has to urinate, when the male has to urinate, the ejaculatory duct does not be active. So the word ejaculation means expelling of sperms, which we are not going in detail now. We'll go in detail later. So I hope it is clear now. Vas deferens will receive a duct from seminal vesicle. So imagine this is the duct. It receives the duct from the seminal vesicle. So it forms a bigger duct here. I'm just showing it as a bigger. It doesn't seem that way, making you more clear. Okay, here you can see vas deferens has come. This is the swollen region which I said ampulla, not important for you. This is the seminal vesicle. Observe how the ducts are fusing to form the ejaculatory duct. Are you getting the idea now? I hope it is clear. So these ejaculatory ducts, they are in pairs. They will store and transport the sperms from the testis to the outside of through urethra. Is it clear? So I told you the ejaculation process to expel the sperms. So that is what the function is. Sperms from testis to outside. That is your outside through ejaculation process. It is through urethra itself. So only during the copulation period we are saying how the ejaculatory ducts work. Rest of the time they will store. During ejaculation they will transport the sperms from testis to outside through urethra. Is it clear? But you have to write this as one sentence. This is the function. Store and transport. So urethra originates from urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. Coming to the structure, okay, here you can find the urethra is a common passage. Okay, so they are saying urethra originates from urinary bladder, that is clear, but it extends to its external opening called urethral meatus. So again, just showing back the picture, it originates, we are talking about urethra originates from urinary bladder, but it opens externally. Okay, so that external opening is called as your urethral meatus. I hope this sentence and the picture matches for your better idea to know what that sentence means. So all these unique words, urethral meatus, ejaculatory ducts, the answer is here. Okay, all this you should be able to frame the answer to it. So I'm giving the questions accordingly. This is just to make you more clear. From the testis, you're showing the pathway. It loops over the urinary bladder, and there is your, the parts. Okay, so from the ducts, from the glands also there are certain ducts from the glands which is joined, and this finally opens up. Okay, I'm not going in detail right now. It is clear in your previous picture, which I'll be revising now again. So you know your testis, inside it testicular lobules. Within the lobule, it is your highly coiled seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule comes out through rete testis. Rete testis joins vasa efferentia, then opens into epididymis. Okay, and then ascends upwards, ascends to the abdominal cavity. Then once it has ascended, it will loop over the urinary bladder. So here you can find there is your seminal vesicle, the ducts of seminal vesicle joining the vas deferens to form ejaculatory duct. Okay, which is not clearly shown in the diagram, but I'm giving you idea. So you can find 1, 2, 3. There are 3 glands. Even those secretions are secreted inside the ejaculatory duct. And finally, through urethra and through the opening called urethral meatus, it is expelled out. Okay, so it's clear now. I hope this part is also clear. So ejaculatory ducts are paired. Now we are going to the external genitalia. So male external genitalia is the penis. So it is a special tissue that helps in erection of penis to facilitate insemination. Now this erection, it is only involved during copulation process. Why erection is needed? To facilitate insemination. Insemination is a process of releasing sperms into the female reproductive tract. Okay, so coming to the parts of it, it has an enlarged end. Of the enlarged end of penis is glans penis, which is covered by a loose fold of skin called foreskin. Just observe here. You can see it is enlarged over here, that is glans penis, and then you can find a loose fold of foreskin covering glans penis. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Remember, we have already told this urethral meatus as a part of your duct. Okay, so it's an opening. You need not include under penis. So we are talking about penis, only the structure. For the erection of penis, you can find here certain pink structure, that is the muscles involved during the erection. Okay, so this was your external genitalia. So after external genitalia, there is you have to understand about the male accessory glands. So 3 male accessory glands, as I said before. Seminal vesicles, which are paired. prostate, R is not there, prostate gland, that is your single, and again paired bulbourethral gland. Okay, so the secretion of these glands together constitute seminal plasma. 1 mark question, what is seminal plasma? So secretions of, you write seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland, secretions of these three glands is constituting the seminal plasma. So what does it consist of? It consists of fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. So it's rich in that. About bulbourethral gland, it is helpful in lubrication of penis. So that is during the copulation process, it secretes certain mucus like fluid which helps in the lubrication of penis. So it's clear now. Just to make you more in order, male accessory glands comes before male external genitalia. Okay, this should have been later. So in order, if I have to tell, just going back, you have to follow this order itself. We go in this order, that is pair of testes you have understood clearly. So it is the primary sex organ, and under that you have studied clearly the parts. So testis consists of compartments called testicular lobules. Lobule content consists of your highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Okay, so here is your explanation on testis. So testicular lobules, seminiferous tubules, and your inside seminiferous tubules, what is present. So about testis is clearly said. Then you have your scrotum, which is the part of testis. You can say not the part of testis, it is placed inside the scrotum. Okay, testis is placed for protection inside the scrotum. You know the functions already. So then the order is, after the testis, the primary sex organ is understood. We are talking about the ducts which you have studied, rete testis, vasa efferentia. So rete testis, from the seminiferous tubules, rete testis, vasa efferentia, then there is your epididymis, then there it ascends upwards to your vas deferens. Okay, then after vas deferens, after vas deferens, I hope you all remember, a duct from seminal vesicle fuses with the or joins the vas deferens to form ejaculatory duct, then finally opens into urethra and then opens to the exterior through urethral meatus. So those are all your ducts. Whatever I said, all those were ducts. Okay. So which part in seminiferous tubule does sperms form? So it is male germ cells called spermatogonia undergo meiosis to produce sperms. To nourish them, Sertoli cells are there. So that is all inside the testis. That's why it is primary sex organ. So you understood about the ducts. To carry the sperms which are produced, to carry them, all these ducts are necessary. So till the exterior, it has to travel. So you have understood even the significance of ejaculatory duct also. Then coming to your glands, there is your seminal vesicles, there is your single prostate gland and bulbourethral, also called as Cowper's gland. In your text only bulbourethral is told, that's why I am only highlighting that. So this is the common urethra. So it's all clear. Please remember, for the diagram purpose, you have to follow this diagram itself. There is no other diagram which you have to refer. Whatever I have given extra diagrams is for you to understand. Okay. Then it is your, so you understood about the three glands, the secretions called seminal plasma, and you are talking about the seminal plasma consists of, or it is rich in fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. Bulbourethral glands secrete certain mucus-like fluid that is helpful in the lubrication of penis. Okay. And last is your external genitalia, that is your penis, helps in erection of penis to facilitate insemination that is release of sperms into female reproductive tract, and the parts of it, enlarged portion is called glans penis, and it is covered by a loose fold of skin called foreskin. 1 mark question: what is glans penis, what is foreskin? Whatever I underlined, that is your answer. Okay, yes, we are done with one structure, that is the male reproductive system. Please study the diagram properly, it's important, and whatever I have discussed till now, see that you are able to answer the questions which I'll be sending in the PDF. Thank you, students.